I'm Mark Wallace. I am hanging out here in Parkwood Studios with Lydia. You will probably recognize her from videos that we did a few years ago, I think like 7 years ago. They're awesome. You should check them out. I'll put links in the description of the video. Well, today we're in a studio and you can probably hear it's a little bit echoey and noisy, but that's on purpose because Lydia has an angle grinder, this thing right here. She is going to be throwing sparks all over the place. And so we needed a place that, well, we wouldn't start on fire. And so we have concrete and steel and aluminum and stuff that's non-flammable all around us. It's a little bit echoey, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be shooting something called rear curtain sync. And that allows us to do something really cool. We can show motion at the same time as we're freezing motion. And so what Lydia's gonna do, hop back here, she's got a piece of steel, and so she can throw sparks all over the place with this thing, and so that's why I have glasses and this face shield. So just really quickly, throw some sparks so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, okay, that is gonna be awesome. I am going to be over here at this camera, and the sparks are gonna be flying toward it, so that's why I have this face shield. I'm sticking with my industrial theme here for a couple reasons. One, because it's old and this equipment can get sparks all over it, but it's cool, and I just like how this looks. So what we have here is I have a 28mm Voigtlander lens. So it's not a really expensive lens, so if it's destroyed, it doesn't matter. It's a wide angle lens, and so that's really gonna exaggerate those sparks coming toward the camera, and that's gonna be really cool. I have my Profoto Acute 2 heads. They don't even make these anymore, but I love them. And so I've got this one here, it's got a snoot. This is illuminating Lydia's face, and it's really restricting where the light is going, so we're gonna meter that a little bit later. Then way over here, I've got another head with some blue gel. That's just throwing some colors onto the background. So the blue on the back, metallic reflective material, is gonna really complement the orange from the sparks, so that is gonna be really cool. Now we've already experimented with this, and so based on those experiments, I have my aperture set to 5.6. That's gonna allow me to capture the light from the sparks. And we're gonna walk through this one step at a time. Show motion, freeze motion. So the first thing I wanna do is show you the problem we have with the sparks. Now with our naked eyes, we can see those sparks just fine, but let me show you what happens when I try to take a picture, no flash, just my camera set to ISO 100, so it's at the base ISO, aperture of 5.6, and a shutter speed of 180. So that's the sync speed of my camera to the flash. So watch what happens when we shoot this. So Lydia, let me get my camera ready here. And, all right, it's going. On a count of 3, I want you to go ahead and grind, so go ahead. All right, cool. So, you can see why I have the face shield. That's a pretty cool picture, but you really don't see the sparks. We see, it looks like maybe, I don't know, fireflies or something. We see some dots there, but it doesn't really look amazing. So what we need to do is to slow our shutter speed way down. So I'm gonna take my shutter speed all the way down to 1 second. So 1 second at 5.6, that should show us all kinds of sparks. And so let me just do that really fast. So my shutter is now at 1 second. All right, so we're gonna do it again. Get my safety gear on here. Are you ready to grind? Ready. Okay, let me get my focus all set. It's all set. Okay, and go. Cool, all right. Now, haha, that is a cool picture. We can clearly see the sparks flying everywhere. They're all blurry, they look wonderful, but we have problems because Lydia, well, she is also blurry. We don't want that. We want her to be nice, crystal clear, and frozen. That's where our flashes come in. Okay, so what I've done here is you can see that we have this pool of light. We've got a snoot on our key light that's illuminating Lydia. So I need to meter that. So I've got my light meter here. I'm gonna grab this. It's got an old school Pocket Wizard transmitter in it, and so I can just meter this really quickly. I want to have this meter at 5.6 because that's what my aperture is on my camera. And I've set my aperture to 5.6 on my camera because after some experimenting, that's what gave me the best results with those sparks in the dark. Okay, so I'm gonna just meter this really fast, and that meters right at 5.6. It's perfect. So what we're doing here is I have this tripod that's going to lock my camera down so that I can make sure that the sparks are all frozen in a nice, perfect way, because I don't want my camera to be all jiggly. But I need to freeze the motion on Lydia. So to do that, we need to eliminate all of the ambient light and only rely on the light from the flash, because the flash is going to be very quick, very short flash duration. It's going to freeze motion. So Keith is running our camera, so he is going to go turn off the lights to the studio. So he will do that, and then in a second he's going to turn off the video light, and we're going to do this picture one more time. So Lydia, go ahead and start grinding. Okay. All right, so Lydia has stopped grinding, but when we look at this picture, well, it's better, but she's still blurry. What's going on? Ha-ha! We still have ambient light. We have our modeling lights on. Those have to go off. We have to shoot this in the dark. You have to be in complete darkness. So what I'm going to do is, I have my camera set to manual focus, so I'm going to manually focus this, make sure it's all set. That's why I also have this tripod. I'm going to turn off my modeling lights. Keith's going to turn off the video light. We're going to shoot this in the dark, and then you'll see that this works. So first, let me get this all focused up. So Lydia, look this way. Let me make sure I am in focus. And I am. That is all good. Okay, now I'm going to go turn off my ambient light, or my modeling lights. And now Keith is going to turn off the video light and start grinding. Awesomeness. Okay, so what we have here is just sparks. What happened to Lydia? Well, I didn't turn my flash on. So let me turn the flash on. We'll do that one more time. Now the only thing that's going to illuminate Lydia is the flash. And that's going to happen so fast, it's going to freeze her. So here we go. Start grinding. Boom. Ha ha! Look at this picture. It is awesome. We can zoom in here. You can see that she is totally frozen. Everything is locked in. Everything looks wonderful. That means we've shown motion with the slow shutter speed. By eliminating the ambient light, we're not showing Lydia except for the flash. That happens so fast, it's freezing her. We've got a perfectly in focus still photo with motion blur. It's incredible. We're using something called rear curtain sync. So what's going to happen here is when I press my shutter release, the shutter will open. It's going to stay open for 1 second, and right at the very end, the flash will fire. And what that's going to allow us to do is those sparks are going to be flying, getting all blurry, but we're not going to see Lydia at all. And at the very last moment, boom, we freeze the motion on her face. We're going to have frozen Lydia and frozen sparks. Okay, now that everything's dialed in, we can play. So we're going to try different outfits, wardrobe, different stylings, different camera angles, and we're just going to have some fun, and I'll show you the results. We're going to do that right now. Well, that was tons of fun. Thank you so much, Lydia. You can see that we did some costume changes. Lydia actually put charcoal all over her face. We really tried some really fun things, different angles with the angle grinder to throw sparks around. But in the end, I think we got some of my favorite images that we have shot together. So thanks so much for being in the studio today. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram, because I'm always posting behind the scenes stuff. In fact, we did some of that today in the studio. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Also, click the bell so you don't miss a single episode. Get notifications of the new episodes coming out. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.